Welcome back aboard. It's about halfway through November and the air is definitely getting chilly. You can hear the generator working away. It's because I've got a heater, an electric heater plugged in down below. And the reason why I've got an electric heater plugged in down below is because it's cold and I need to do some work down there. When I left off, I was working on the diesel heater and I had to get some pipe and fittings, and I've done that and I brought it aboard, and so it's time to install it. Let me show you what I've got. So I've got a bit of copper pipe that I can extend, and happily I discovered that I can reuse the fitting because it doesn't have a compression type ferrule in it. It just needs a flared end. So fortunately I have a friend who has a tool to flare copper pipe, so I've done that, and that will simply screw onto the fitting inside, and then I have to thread the remainder of the pipe through the bulkhead and connect the two end pieces. So I mean, it sounds easy, but this is a first in plumbing for me. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we'll find out soon enough. So let's head down below and see what happens. So I had to configure some lighting because I'm going down into the bowels of the beast here, and it's dark, and I need to be able to work with both my hands and be able to see what I'm doing. So to get a light in there, it's kind of problematic. So take a look and see what I did. This is my LED work light, and I crammed it into the lower storage hatch here and shined it in the back. And now I can see. Isn't that cool? So there's the new pipe fitted and installed. I am not completely happy with the job. I've managed to put a couple of kinks in the pipe. There's one real bad one right there, and as it goes through the bulkhead here, there's a couple more too. So I'm not sure what the process is for bending copper to sharp angles like that, but obviously I don't have the right method. Fitting this fitting, like to screw that on, was unbelievably difficult. It didn't want to just turn on. When I did a test fit, I could just put the new pipe up there and turn it in, but once the pipe is through the bulkhead and it's got this curve in it, it did not want to sit on there properly, but I got it done. So now phase 2, which is to connect the new pipe to the old pipe. So here's where I'm at. This is the new pipe here, this is the old pipe here, and I have to connect the two. So I have a pipe cutting tool, fortunately, and I will trim back the old end and cut the new pipe hereabouts, and hopefully it's not as difficult to put those two together as the fitting on the inside. We shall see. So this is a pipe cutter which I use to cut the pipe, and as you can see, the ends meet almost perfectly. So now I'll put the hardware in there and crank them down, and hopefully that'll be the end of that. This is my fitting hardware here. There's no instructions on how to install it, but it looks pretty straightforward. This is a centerpiece, and these two guys go in the pipe, and these nuts clamp down on top. There it is. The fitting is in place. All that remains to be seen is to put a little bit of diesel fuel in the tank and see if we can't get this heater sparked up. and see what happens. Well, it's a sort of success. After I hooked up all the fittings and plumbing and all that jazz, I looked at the plates on the side of the stove to learn how to light it, and it really didn't make a whole lot of sense. But I kind of fiddled and twisted knobs and did that kind of thing, and kind of got it going. The first problem I ran into was the fuel switch. This guy here, fuel pump. So that sucks fuel from the tank into the stove. I think it's kind of like a safety. There's two of them, and the switch handles are plastic, and I flicked that one to the on position and it broke. So I took it out and hardwired it and looked inside the stove, and there was fuel inside the stove, which is kind of amazing. So then the next thing I needed to do was light it, which I did. As you can see, I have a little fire in my diesel heater. The key word being little. I expected quite a bit more flame inside there and a lot more heat coming off it. Like, to touch the stove right now, it's not even warm, it's quite cold. So there's obviously something not quite right in the fuel oil department, but it is working. The plumbing is working. There's no leak that I can see. I'm going to let it go for a while and look for leaks, and if I don't see any, we're going to call that mostly a success. So, onward and upward.